grade, we're back again, ready for another practice. I've got my book, I've got my recorder all set up, I even have my handy dandy pencil, and I even have my water. So if you also have those things, then you're ready to practice too, so let's get started. Last week, we started on page 5, and it looked like this, and we started learning the note B. So let's review B before we move on. Remember that we always put our left hand on top. If you have something that you can use to mark your left hand, that would be a good idea so that way you don't forget. One way that I do it is I wear a bracelet, or in this case, a watch. Or if you have just a plain old marker, you can always put a dot on your left hand so that way you don't forget. So with our left hand, we're going to take our thumb and we're going to put it over the back hole. Then we're going to take our first finger and cover up the first hole. So your fingers should look just like this. Remember, we don't want to use the tip top of our finger like that. So if you're making a C shape, then we want to flatten those out and use the fatter part of our finger. Otherwise, we're not going to cover the hole completely. So make sure that you're covering the hole completely, and one way to check is if you press just a little harder, then you're going to have an indent on your fingers, and it doesn't hurt. It's nothing that you should be worried about. That's normal, but this is going to show you where the hole is falling on your finger. So making sure that we're using that fat part of our fingers to cover up the hole. So let's play B together as a review. So we've got thumb, 1, we have the right amount of air, and let's try it in 1, 2, ready, play. Awesome. If your B sounded just like mine, then you're ready to move on this week. So on page 4 of our book, we're going to learn a new note. Our new note this week is A. And if we look at our fingering chart for A, it has our thumb, our first finger, and our second finger. And remember that A is going to be on the second space of the treble clef staff. So by looking at our fingering chart, we know which fingers to press. So we're going to start by fingering our B again. So we've got thumb, 1. Now we're going to add our second finger just like this. This note is super hard to make sure that you're covering all of the right holes. So make sure that you double check. Now with our fingers in the right place and our left hand on top, we're going to remember that we don't need very much air for this note. In fact, we need even less air for A than we did for B. So I'm going to play my A, and then I want you to play your A. And I'll show you when. Ready? You try. Did your A sound like mine? If it sounded like this, then we used too much air and we need to back that off. If you have a leak, remember it's going to sound kind of squeaky, so just make sure that you double check that you're covering up all the holes. Another great way to practice that is if you're practicing near a mirror. If you see there's a mirror behind me, that way I can check to see what my fingers are doing while I play. So let's play A together. 1, 2, ready, go. Excellent. If you played A just like I did, then you're ready for the next exercises in the book. So on page 5, we're going to look at the A exercise. So we're going to clap it first because we know all of the notes in this one are A. So let's try that. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, those funny little dots at the end mean that we're going to go back to the beginning and repeat it again. So this time, I'm going to play the exercise for the first time, and then I want you to play it for the second time. When you get really good, you can play with me for the first time and rewind this part of the video. So I'll play the first time, and then you echo me for the second. 1, 2, ready, and... One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. How'd you do? If you had some squeaking or some odd sounding notes, make sure you go back and try again. But on more A's, we're going to add some quarter notes this time. So let's clap that rhythm together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. So as a reminder, when we use our tongue when we play, we're going to use that t or t sound, right? So when you say that ta or tu, you feel your tongue hitting the roof of your mouth, usually right behind your front two teeth. So we're going to keep using that t motion for each note. Now, the one thing that you're going to want to try to do is to use huh from here, right? Going ha, 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 but that's going to make your notes not sound very good, and it's going to make you have more air at the beginning. It'll sound like this. We don't want to sound like that. We want to use our t to make that a little more clear. So listen to the exercise the first time with using t. Did you hear the difference? I did. So make sure that you're using that t motion with your tongue. So let's look at more A's. This time I'm going to play the first time. I want you to play the second time. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you were really successful. If you were, then you're ready to move on to the next hardest step. That means we're going to be playing both A and B together. So check out my next video for that one. See ya!